Spencer Ross with One Step Forward. I hope you've been well. Got excited to do the video and a whole bunch of crows showed up, and hopefully we can get this done. Generosity. All right, so how should you be generous, or what should you be generous in? Keep it simple. The 5 W's: who, what, when, where. Okay, so you're talking about yourself, or when you're mentoring someone else, you're talking about them. You're working them through whatever issue you've got. Okay, but you're going to manage yourself first. So what should you be generous in? Time, talent, and treasure. Time. Okay, so all three of these, time, talent, and treasure, I'm going to talk about with certain groups. Family first, coworkers second, neighbors third. It's up to you if you want to do your neighbors first and your coworkers second. And situation's going to be different for everyone. If you live in the middle of nowhere and all you have is neighbors, you don't have coworkers, okay, so take coworkers out. Who's my neighbor? Who's my coworker? You're going to have to figure that out, but we're going to talk a little bit about it. All right, so time, talent, treasure. Time, family. A lot of people say family first. Yes, I agree with that. I don't believe it's family only. I worked at a school for a long time, and I've watched people beat up others because, oh, no, family first. Family first, family first. We can't do anything else. We got a family first. So a mentor of mine talked about how when he was first married, he would say, yes, I can do that. And he'd get home and he'd be talking to his wife and she's like, babe, it's like, oh, nuts, I forgot. And it took him a while to get used to, hey, I need to go home and check the calendar, which was, I need to go talk to my wife and look at the calendar, and then we work at it together. And it took him almost 5 years to get that down. Cool. All right. So let's not forget our family. Let's involve our family. If we're thinking about buying a house or starting a business or getting a new job or going to school because we're graduating high school, or we're going to go in the military or something, are we inviting our family and getting their input from their talent? Yes, that'll take time on both of your parts, but let's not forget our family. Spending time with them, building that relationship. If someone off the street randomly comes up and gives you an opinion, is that opinion going to have as much weight, as much emphasis, as much trust as someone that you spend more time with? Now, we need to be careful when someone gives us their opinion. Is the opinion relevant? Right? Because people are generous with their opinions. I am generous with my opinion because I worked with someone who would sabotage people, and he would say, fine, you don't care about my opinion, then I'm going to withhold it, watch you fail, and then I'll come in, save the day, and everyone will think I'm amazing. So I have that coloring my lens that I view and operate life with, right? We all have biases, and I have people, especially recently, well, biases are bad. Well, one, biases happen. Okay. Two, not all biases are bad. I know someone who hates bullies and goes after them very effectively in a mentorship way. Now, some people don't like to criticize, and some people don't like to confront. But he uses his time generously to mentor young men. And this is in a high school situation. So you have more ability to mentor someone before they become a full-grown adult and they're more set in their ways. Can you teach an old dog new tricks? Yes. But will an old dog be receptive to it as much as a younger dog? History has shown that that is not the case. So when we're giving our opinion, when we're giving advice, when we're giving volunteer time, whatever we're giving with our time, right? Because I am not the best cook, but I helped out with an event and I volunteered and I helped cook. And then another guy came in and he didn't know how to cook at all, and I was a little bit better, so I started helping him, but I was better at another thing. So I got them started because I could do that. And then I said, hey, there's a guy 3 feet away from you. Talk to him, watch him, learn from him. He's the expert. He's been doing it for over 5 years. Watch how he cooks. And he did a great job. He had a big skillet, 2 big skillets, cooking some meat. All right, so he did a good job. You don't have to have the talent if you're giving your time. If you're giving your time, you're trying, you're doing the best job, and yes, people will criticize you. They will say you aren't very good. They will say you suck. Okay, develop that skill. How do you get better at something? By doing it. You don't get better by mentoring someone. You don't get better by cooking. You don't get better by anything by just reading a book. Reading a book is important. Watching a video is important. Learning from your spouse or a family member, that's important. But if you're going to get opinion from someone, or you're going to give your opinion to someone, or you're going to spend time with someone, spend it with the people who are close by. So your family. Don't use them as a crutch. Don't use them as a cudgel to beat other people up. Well, I have a family, so I need to spend time with my family, and that's why I can't do your event. Well, hey, I appreciate you inviting me to this event, this dinner, whatever it may be. I need to go check my calendar and see what's going on. I was listening to a YouTube video, and a young lady got invited to speak at a big event, and she was very honored, but she said, my daughter's graduating high school, and I need to figure out what her sports schedule is. That was a nice way to put it. That was a nice way to say, hey, your event is important to me. I would love to go, but I need to check with my family first. Hey, different thing, transition. If I'm trying to mentor my family, if I have a son or a daughter or a niece or a nephew, and I never call them, I never spend time with them, do any experiences with them, are they going to be receptive to my mentorship, to my advice? Probably not, because who am I? At that point, I'm a stranger. Don't lose sight of who you first have a responsibility for, which is yourself, then the people in your immediate area, which in most cases is our family. Okay? If your family's small and it's just you, or it's just you and your spouse, who else do you have? Well, for me in my life, that's my coworkers. Okay, so time, talent, treasure. How am I going to be generous with my coworkers? Maybe it's going in a little bit early, having a coffee with them, or we're just standing there talking. How was your weekend? And taking that effort to think about how was your weekend, listening to it, asking appropriate questions to their weekend, or maybe just, oh, your weekend was good and you've got to go? Cool. See you tomorrow. But taking that time, taking that effort to spend a little bit of time with your coworkers, right? You spend time at home, you spend time with your family, you spend time with them. Okay, who else? Okay, well, a lot of us spend time at work. Okay, so it'd be natural to spend time with those people at work, building a relationship with them. I had a training on Friday. The training went as well as it could have gone. The young lady who did the training was phenomenal, but it was difficult because it was remote, all right, and that's a little bit hard. It's remote on a computer, and there was a little bit of a lag in what she's doing on the screen with her mouse going, hey, it's right here, and we can hear it's right here, and the mouse is over there, and we're like, oh, okay, and then it switches over there, and then we're like, wait. And so we're trying to ask questions, and then we're moving the mouse, and then we realize there's a delay, and so it was hard. But we all know her. We all have a lot of respect for her. How? Well, because we've interacted with her before. We've spent that time, and she's been very generous in being kind, explaining things. Hey, Spencer, what about this project? When I first started, none of the projects I was closing out was getting closed out. So I had to go on a trip. Well, I've got 30 projects open. No, she sent a very nice email and explained it very detailedly, laid everything out. Hey, Spencer, what about these 30 projects? Oh, well, here's all the documentation that I have. She had her documentation. I had my documentation. We worked on it together. We got it accomplished. Cool. You have 2 open ones. All right, we need to work something out to figure out what's going on, why these aren't closing. All right. So I'm spending time with my coworkers to build that relationship. Okay. I don't need to have a conversation with myself. I have a conversation with my family. People I spend the next amount of time with is my coworkers. Again, for you, it might be your neighbors. Okay. So my third one is the neighbors. Okay. So am I driving in the street and there is a car parked in the middle of the street? I can't drive down the street. Am I honking? Oh, maybe I need to go to the bathroom. Okay, so maybe I get out of my car. Hey, Bobby, how's it going? I really got to go to the bathroom. Or maybe I park on the street and then I go in, use the bathroom, come out, move my car. Am I being patient with people? Sometimes a lot of time, being generous with your time is being patient with people, listening to them. The neighbors were talking in the street. They saw me. Oh, hey, Spencer. They waved. They got out of the street. It took me 5, 10, maybe 15 seconds. Sometimes being generous with our time when you're being patient is just sitting there, waving, and not having that look on your face. Depends on the relationship, right? Maybe you'll have a little bit of fun with it. But are we being generous with our time? Sometimes it's being patient, sometimes it's asking us questions, sometimes it's just listening. Sometimes it's situational dependent. You're a leader, you can work that out. All right, so time, talent, treasure. Talent. Cool. Easy. LeBron James. My roommate loves the Dolphins. Another guy loves the Raiders. Another brother I have hates football and likes baseball. Okay, loves baseball. Whatever. It's easy to think of a professional athlete with talent, right? Because when we're playing sports in elementary school or high school or ballet or chess or whatever, we have a certain amount of ability. And there's some people who have worked very, very hard with their talent and gone to that next level. I've read lots of things that you can have a lot of talent, but it'll only get you so far. And then you can have a lot of determination and no talent, and that will only get you so far. And I have yet to read anything or watch a video or experience this where if you have zero talent and 100% will, then you're going to make it in professional sports. Again, this is my opinion. All the videos that I make are my opinion, and again, the experiences that I have, my biases, which aren't wrong, right? Truth is truth. Biases are good and bad. But you need a combination of both to be a professional athlete. Okay, that's easy. How does that apply for the rest of the world? I think professional athletes make up less than 1% of the population out of any country. Okay, so how does that apply to me? There are things that we are good at. There are things that you are good at that I am not. There are things that we are both good at together in the same category, and there are things that I'm good at that you aren't. Okay, so how do we manage that? Team leaders, they have to manage that. Okay, cool. So, how are you being generous with your talent? I coached soccer. I love the game. I like many sports, but I am particularly good and can coach decently in soccer. Well, I was coaching soccer and I saw that there were other people who were willing to be a coach, and at this point of the my experience, we weren't short of coaches. If we were short of coaches, then I would have stepped up to fill that gap. But we weren't short of coaches. I have more of a talent of doing maintenance. So I would volunteer doing maintenance because my talent is greater doing maintenance than coaching soccer. And we had more of a need, no, not over here, but over here for maintenance. So I let the people who could coach better than I could go coach, and I helped them in the maintenance aspect of soccer, right? Because there's field, there's equipment, there's gear, there's all this stuff. Maybe I just go organize the shed. Maybe I would spend a couple extra hours and cut the grass before a game on Saturday, whatever it might be. But my talent is in soccer and in coaching, and in speaking and in. So I had to choose to be generous only in a certain amount of area because we only all have 24 hours in a day. So I saw my time. I saw the talent I could best serve with as maintenance, and I went and filled that. There was a time that I coached a lot. We didn't have a lot of soccer coaches. Okay, so I went and I coached soccer. And we did very well. We didn't win every game, but we did very well. And my goal, I matured in coaching. And so winning was important, but it changes a little bit the more you go. So instead of just, we're going to practice this skill so we can do it in the game, we're going to practice this skill and have fun at it so we can have fun and do the skill in the game. All right? So time, yes, it takes time, but my talent I saw as I grew up and matured was better in another place. So family. Maybe your talent isn't with your family. Maybe it's not talking to them, but you have a buddy. Okay, so you figured it out. This event I went to, the young man couldn't cook, couldn't drive either. He woke his dad up. Hey, Dad, come on. We're going to go to this event, right? Come on, Dad, let's go. Oh my gosh, it's 5:30 in the morning. Yes, come on, Dad, let's go. Because he wanted to go spend time with him. And he talked about his dad. His dad's a good guy. I know him. All right, cool. It's not that his dad didn't have that talent, but his dad was there and he did another thing. And he let that other young man mentor his son for a while because his son needed that. Okay, so time, talent, you got your family, you got your coworkers, your talent. Okay, maybe I have two coworkers. One is very, very personal, super funny guy, a lot more personal than I am. I've been told I can walk up and talk to everyone. That's almost true. There's a few people that I struggle with, but for the most part, I'm really good at being open and being friendly with people. Some people aren't. Okay. So there's a guy who has better talent at that. Well, I let him do it. I just stand there and I listen. And I smile and I nod. And I'm not weird and creepy about it, but I am part of the conversation, but I'm letting his talent serve both of us. We're all building a relationship. We're all standing there talking, having a good time, catching up on the weekend, catching up on life. But his talent's better than mine. So I'm going to spend some time and, okay, let him use his talent. Okay. Neighbors. Talent. I was walking home. I parked my car and I was walking home and there was this little boy, this sweet little boy, and I don't know, maybe 6 or 7. And he was less than 4 feet tall. It's 11 o'clock at night and he's helping his dad and his mom. They're getting evicted. It's a hard situation. But he's trying to help, and he's trying to help Dad move a couch. There was no way this little boy could have done it. His parents are getting evicted. They have to leave. That's why they're doing it at 11 o'clock at night. You got to get out. Okay. So Dad's trying to do everything he can. Mom's got a baby, trying to keep the baby quiet, and I walk up onto him. Hey, do you guys need some help? They didn't speak any English. Okay? I got it. I can look with my eyes, right? Because that's a talent. Being able to discern what's going on in the world around you. Being mature enough to deduce, hey, it's 11 o'clock at night. The little boy and the young man are trying to get this in the back of the truck. Hey, I can go over there and help them. So I went over and was like, hey, can I help you? I don't speak English. That's all right. And I helped him get the sofa in the back of the truck. And he came over and he shook my hand. Gracias. You're welcome. Did I need to stand there and have a conversation? Do you need my help? No. Why would I need to embarrass him? I can be generous. Just 15 seconds. I'm I'm healthy. I'm not hurt, so I could physically do it. It's a couch, right? It's heavy. This little boy couldn't do it. He was trying so hard. He was he was trying. His talent was there. He's just not strong enough yet. He's a little boy. Okay, well, I'm strong enough. I got 15 seconds. 11 o'clock at night. I need to go to bed. Yeah, I can help you. Let's get in the back of the truck. Need anything else? No. Good luck, guys. So that's how you can be with your neighbor. How can you do that, right? How can you, with your talents? Maybe your talent is my brother. My brother would have a block party every summer. That was his talent, managing that block party. He was like, yeah, we don't really talk during the year, but man, we catch up and it's awesome. Everyone brings some food, it's a good potluck, and we have a nice block party in August. Awesome. You all have a talent. I have a talent. Are we using it? Are we using our time? So now treasure. Treasure simple, right? Time simple, talent sometimes hard to discern. Time and treasure are very, very simple. What's treasure? Maybe it's extra food out of your garden, or maybe it is financial. I keep hearing people complain that there's issues in the world. There's homelessness and this and that. And when I talk to them, they don't budget to give. They don't give on a regular basis. And when they do give, it's a very small amount. Definitely nothing that will impact the area around them. If you talk about time, and there's a time and place for everything. If you are not financially able to give with your talent, treasure, then maybe you give more with your time or your talent. But if you are able to give with your treasure, please do so. There are numerous organizations out there that could use your help. I read a cool article. Let's not make another nonprofit. Let's support the ones that are out there. And it was very well written and it had a good point. Are we creating nonprofits to make ourselves look important? Or are we creating nonprofits to solve a problem? If we're creating nonprofits to solve a problem, let's keep doing that. But if we're just getting our name out there, I started a nonprofit, all right, cool. That one does it, that one does it, and that one does it. All three of those do the same thing. And now we're all spreading our money so thinly that we're actually not trying to solve the problem that we're trying to solve. We are just putting our name out there that we started a nonprofit. My friend started a nonprofit. She helps abused and trafficked kids and young adults and older adults, I shouldn't, just people in general, get out of that situation and live a normal life. That's very awesome. So it takes money to do that. It takes money to buy people out of captivity. It takes money to have a Sarah's house. That's the house that we call in Simi Valley. We used to call it, I don't know if we still do, a house that we can have battered women in. A house that we can put people in and say, hey, come here. There's pretty pictures on the walls. There's lots of toys for your kids. Stay here for a little bit. We're going to have a social worker come and help you. Law enforcement will be working with you to get you out of that situation, whether it's an abusive house, whether you were trafficked, whatever the situation is. It takes money to maintain that house, to buy that house, to furnish that house, to have the social worker. Okay, and social workers sometimes tax money. But there are groups that do a lot of good things and they need your money. They need my money. I give a little bit more than 10%. And people make fun of me that I'm poor. And that's okay. That's what they choose to do. And I listen to them. I struggle with trying to help too much. So it's good to have that critique. Spencer, are you giving too much? You give a lot with your time. You give it a lot with your talent. You give a lot with your treasure. Are you giving too much? Or are you giving an appropriate amount? And it's good to have that family, to have that brotherhood, to have that sisterhood who will hold you account, to help you mentor. If that's a blind spot for you, where you're giving too much time to your family, or you're giving too much talent to somewhere else, and maybe you have a nonprofit or just you let the word go out that, yeah, I'm a lawyer, I'm really good, and I help with divorce cases, but I am more than happy to every once in a while do some pro bono work in addition to the time and the treasure that you give. This is a hard one. Being generous. It covers so many things. This video is way too long. And the crows have stopped. But as you walk through this day and this week and the rest of your life, how are you being generous? Maybe you need to withdraw some time because your wife is about to give birth 2 months from now. Whatever the situation with. My mom had twins. Okay, so she needed a lot of help, not 2 months out, 4 months out, whatever, right? And there's a picture of her on a tractor because she's helping dad and her brother and her sister-in-law and mom and dad level the backyard so they can plant grass. Okay, well, she was able to do that. At a certain point, she's going to need help. What about the people who are hurting? Are we able to spend our time with them because we're managing our time appropriately? Maybe we need to adjust something because someone got in a car accident yesterday and like, hey, I need to go visit them at the hospital. It's time sensitive. I could keep going. You are very smart. You are. You are smart. You are clever. Even if yesterday's 2 minutes ago someone said you're not smart, you're not clever, you mismanage everything, work on it. Maybe they're giving you good feedback and maybe they're not. Spencer Ross is one step forward, and as you go forth, as you take that step, as you try, are you being generous with your time, talent, and treasure to first yourself and then to your family and your coworkers and your neighbors? Have a good one.